Hey, my name's Al Stasek. I'm here with my partner, Jay Kinder. What's up, Jay?
What's happening, brother?
Well, we just got a great group assembled of amazing professionals who just partnered with us. We're calling this eXp's Fireside Chats.
That's right.
We're here in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And we've assembled a pretty amazing group of people. I mean, these are people that are brokerages that have grown their business to millions of dollars, team leaders who've grown their teams to dozens and dozens of people, just great leaders.
Right.
And you get to interview them.
Right. It's been fun. And, the reason we're doing this is because, one of the things we run into with everybody that wants to join eXp, everyone gets really excited. Usually you lose a lot of sleep. That's kind of the first phase you go through. Then you go through a phase of not believing it could be true. And then you start, trying to get your friends to poke holes in it. And then, then you really start researching and looking at, well, how would I do this if I was going to do it? And that's probably the phase you're in now, maybe not. But the goal in the interviews is just find out, hey, what did you do? How did you tell your team? You had an independent brokerage. What did that look like for you? How did you come to the conclusion this was a better way than how you're doing it? So
Yep.
that's really the goal, is to share their stories of how they made the move to eXp. Again, we're seeing a tremendous number of mega agents, independent companies, even RE/MAX franchises, Keller Williams franchisees, former operators of OPs
Right.
of Keller Williams. I mean, there's just a large number of different situations where we thought this would be valuable if we could just get their true, real stories of
Right.
why they joined and how they joined eXp.
And not only why they joined eXp, but why they literally flew from where they were at, their states, to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is absolutely stunning and beautiful.
Right.
But came out here to the opportunity of linking arms with us.
Right.
With this opportunity, and it's been a special weekend. It's been great. So
yeah.
we're looking forward to sharing this with you, and we hope that you get value out of it, and we hope that at the end of it you can understand what problems it solved for these just amazing professionals in the real estate industry, and we're excited for you to see it. So
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it, and how we can add value to you as you join eXp, and how we can make that a smooth process and help you to be more successful and working in this great company. So we're glad you're here, and take a look at all the videos.
All right, my name is Steve Freeman. I'm from Peachtree City, Georgia, just a little bit south of Atlanta.
And I'm looking forward to this conversation because you bring a unique perspective to this conversation. I mean, we've had these fireside chats, about, coming over to eXp, and everyone sees the opportunity differently. We've come from different, experiences that we've had in real estate, and you've been doing real estate as long as any of us. So, what did you see, and what was, what's your background? Where did you, you came from the KW system, which
So
is...
I was there.
Right.
I actually started in '93 with RE/MAX, and I bought the Keller Williams franchise in 2000.
Okay.
And then I kind of did my own little boutique company recently.
Okay, so in 2000, I mean, that's pretty early for KW,
was
right?
very
Is that
early.
Keller who?
It
Back
was
then?
absolutely, we were Keller who. I'd be asked sometimes about it, and I would say, no, we're Keller Williams, not Sherwin Williams.
Right. Okay.
'cause
Yeah.
that
So
was
how many agents did they have? Would you say?
They were under 6,000 when I joined them, so it's very much
Very
like
close, right?
Where I joined eXp in October, was a little under 6,000.
Right. Wow.
So, it's almost exactly now today where it was
Right.
when I joined that one.
Okay. So then you definitely have a unique perspective,
Yeah.
and so you bought the KW franchise. You were the OP.
I was
then?
the OP of the company. Yes.
And you mentioned also the team leader when you had to
I
replace
went by
them.
default, yeah.
you get
Sometimes
to
had to be
inherit
the
that
team
job.
leader. Yeah.
So what's how did that work for you? I mean, obviously it's not the same model, but it is similar.
No,
so
it is a different model. I mean, the profit share is the profit share. It's based on whatever the company makes for the month.
Right.
And it's not predictable. It can change.
Right.
Every month, one could be very high, one could be very low.
Right.
And then when I looked at this model, it's a revenue share, so it's very predictable.
Right.
As the agents make their money, you're paid on what they get paid on.
Right, in
So,
real time, you see it adding up. There's no question about the fact that it's real, and it's real right now.
It is an absolute real scalable number.
So just to kind of either validate that how long did you left Keller Williams 10 years ago?
About 10 years ago.
Okay, so 10 years ago, and you had profit share. Obviously, how many
Then,
people do you think you brought in to?
Probably directly sponsored about 10 people into the company.
So not
then.
a ton of people.
No, but then from there, it probably went to about 100 or so.
Right. And so is that still
today,
even relevant?
Yeah. Today I still get my profit share check, and I almost feel like that profit share pays for my new cap at eXp.
Okay, so that's to me that's evidence, proof that that this is much more sustainable as a passive revenue opportunity, and that's what everybody is expecting to be. But I don't think anybody really knows, what they could say it might be. But I think that for me, it's a much bigger revenue stream than I would have ever dreamed would have been possible at KW, just because the brokerages are typically not profitable, and you don't really have any control over that, even though it's open book, right?
They might be, but in their budgets change. Their budgets change from year to year.
Right.
It's approved by the Agent Leadership Council, but so you never know if it's going up, going down. They hire an assistant team leader. They're paying the team leader more. You just don't know.
Right. But to me, this is evidence why Keller Williams has been successful.
It is successful.
160-some thousand agents. I just have no reason to believe that there's any disadvantage that eXp has. If anything, they have an advantage because they have such a superior business model that that it could accomplish similar goals. And obviously, I'm sure when you saw it, what was your thought? Like, what did you?
So I sold in 2005, and I'll tell you that this is the first time that I've seen something that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Right.
Because it was the first time I've seen a model that could even remotely compete with that.
Right.
In the day, Remax was the king of the hill.
Right.
Then Keller Williams shows up.
Right.
And now this one that shows up is a new model that will, I think it's the next one.
Right.
And I've always tried to be on the leading edge. You can see.
Right.
I was with Remax when it was strong. I've gone to Keller when it was brand new and upcoming. Now this one's upcoming. You can see, if you really look at it, you can see the momentum coming.
Yeah, you can feel it.
And you better get in front of the wave.
Oh man.
Because once out, and I've said this to my friend Al, if that wave gets in front of you, it's hard to catch it.
Right.
So you want to be in front of that wave if you can.
And again, there's at the time that we're shooting this, 7,000 agents maybe. So the thing that fascinates me, and there's a book called Exponential Organizations, and anybody wants to read it, it's really good. But and even Al mentioned it the other day in the conversation. He'd been reading the book, and they're missing their projections by thousands.
Right.
And a month later, no, we're going to be at way more agents by the end of this year than what they had projected. Right. Which is, it's evidence when you read, the book and Exponential Organizations, you understand the scalability of this model, and the ability to really how they've really leveraged, the agents in the company that are, out there doing business every day, getting compensated in forms of stock, and ownership in the company, and having an opportunity.
They are actual agent owners.
Agent owners.
So whereas in a franchise system, you're limited to the number of owners that'll ever be in that franchise.
Right.
But with this one, everyone in that office or in that company has the ability to be an owner.
Right. And that's just, I can just tell you that, we've talked about that, and maybe even people put it into their model.
Yeah.
But you don't, when it's publicly traded and you have the ability to go and sell that stock,
yes.
As long as you're vested and depending on how you acquired that stock, that's real. And people get, if you met anybody that that joined eXp, you probably met somebody that's pretty excited.
Yep.
And pretty excited about the opportunity. That's because it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because they're crazy. It's because they
is
get
a
it.
true exit strategy.
Right.
I mean,
everybody we've talked to.
I'm 48. I've been doing this for 25 years. 24 years. I don't want to keep doing it for at this pace for 25.
Right.
This gives me the avenue not to do that.
Right.
What it also does is it makes me in partnership with the other agents that I recruit in on a higher level than I was before.
Right.
Because every single time I help them, then I also revenue share.
Right.
Again, not profit share.
Off the top.
It doesn't matter where they are.
Right.
They can be in Florida, they can be in Ohio, they can be in California. Doesn't matter.
Right.
So it benefits me and it benefits everybody in my group. Our group.
That alignment, right?
Yes.
Where
to help them.
We all have a vested interest in every single person that comes in, and that's.
And what's really cool about what we've done is now we have this cool little inner circle inside eXp.
Right.
That is also promoting and trying to build our agents and trying to make them more productive and help them with their recruiting.
Right.
So that they don't have to be an island.
Right.
And they don't have to be an expert recruiter.
Right.
They've got you, they've got me, they've got Al, they've got the avenues that they need.
Right.
To just get their people to the right people.
No question about that. But making that system duplicatable so that they can leverage our experience and expertise, and there's a lot of people that have been very successful already at eXp, prior at Keller Williams, that are in other companies as well. Right. I mean, this is it's a huge opportunity to join the dream team. And, it is, and having a blast working with you, man. It's awesome, man. You bring a lot of energy to the table, man, and you're out there killing it. So I love you, man. Yes. And anything else you would say as far as
don't be afraid of the opportunity that's there. You can look at it, the holes are not going to be there. You're going to find the solution that you need here. Right. And it's there. Right. You got to be open-minded enough to actually see it.
Right.
And don't be, and this is the last thing I'll say. You're too smart to say no to something you don't know what you're saying no to.
Right. Yeah.
That's the key.
Right. If you've seen it, and now you're just trying to understand how to structure your deal, or you haven't seen it, and you haven't invested the hour you need to in really watching the webinar and making sure that you understand the business model. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's what we've been saying since the get-go. So.
And I'm excited about this.
Me too, man.
I'm excited about our group. I'm excited about the company.
I haven't had more fun in 20 years, man.
My phone's been ringing off the hook. from people I haven't talked to in 10, 15 years. They're like, hey, I saw you moved. Tell me about it.
Right. So, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, that's it. That's all we got. Sir. So thanks for sharing. I really appreciate you spending your time and sharing that so other people can kind of come to their own conclusion what they need to do. And as we say in EA, we'll either see you at the top or from the top.
There you go.
There we go. All right, man. All right, we're here having another fireside chat with our new business partner, Erin Catron from Catron & Company, now with eXp, and I am so happy that you are on board with eXp. So tell me this, you're an independent company, and I've known you and Dirk for a long time, and you guys, you watched the webinar, I'm assuming at some point, and tell me the story. What happened? How did you decide to move from being an independent company with how many agents do you have?
We have 10.
10 agents?
Now we have 10. Or 11. We have 11.
11 now.
Because that's what eXp has done.
Right, helping you boom. Already we're up 10%.
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah,
right.
I mean, absolutely. It's just been like a magic pill. So,
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it does definitely. We'll talk about how easy it makes for attracting agents to your team, because I think we really haven't talked about that in most of the conversations that I've had.
And we're 3 weeks in.
Right, 3 weeks in.
So yeah.
So yeah, that's really important, right? So most people don't know what to expect in your first 3 weeks. What's it been like?
It's been an amazing roller coaster ride,
right?
In a great way.
And be honest too. So like I know that we had a couple dips in the first initial process. So let's not be afraid to talk about those things.
Okay, so let's back up. How I heard about it first, and if you know me, you know my personality, which is very scattered. I'm like pretty objects, let's shiny things. I'm like, I'm going here.
Thank God for Dirk.
And thank God for Dirk. So Dirk, which is my husband, he was introduced really to the webinar first. And we actually kind of got turned on to it because somebody called us and said, you need to poke some holes in this thing, because obviously we're missing something. And so of course you give Dirk something like that, and he's on a mission. Right. So he is all about like, okay, dude, I will hook you up and I will tell you why it's not good.
Right.
So the next thing you know, he's like, oh, Erin, you're gonna hate me because we're doing this. And I'm like, no, we're not, because we have a really successful brokerage. We made a move into a new market.
Brand new.
Our business is less than 2 years old,
right?
But we have already been able to get some traction in our market, and so.
But 171 deals last year?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
For saying you're in a marketplace. Pay attention here, guys. That's to do that, to come into a market cold where nobody knows you. That's not easy to do. That is very. We could go on for another interview after this on that.
And we moved over to the new brokerage with me and one other person who wasn't even licensed. So when we started, it was like when I say we started from scratch, we started from scratch. I mean, it was all like back in production. I'm doing listings. I'm doing buyers. And then thank goodness I had a great administrative assistant who told me that she would never ever sell, who ended up being one of the best salespeople on the planet.
Right.
So anyway, but together it has come into something. The point of this is that there was no reason for us to change.
Right. No problem you were needing to solve.
No problem.
Right?
I mean, like on the contrary, it was just now kind of getting that momentum, and we were starting to build a brand and being independent into a big marketplace where there's big players. that's hard.
Right.
And so I kind of felt like, oh, the last thing I want to do is have to start all over.
Oh, Dirk,
and Dirk, why are you making me do this? Because I hate change. I'm very resistant to change. And by this time, we've built a team.
Right.
And so I'm a traditional team brokerage, which for me too was something that brought on even more, like in my mind, like puzzles.
Right.
Like, how do I make all these pieces fit? And I think one of the biggest things for me, because I'm not a researcher, like Dirk by nature, he will research the crap out of stuff.
Right.
And he's going to read, and he's going to watch videos, and he's going to dig, and he's going to see who else has done it. And he's really going to make sure that he knows all of the facts that he possibly can. And me, I'm just like, if you tell me this is the task and this is where I'm going, then if I'm here, then what is the quickest way to get from here to here with the least amount of pain?
Right.
That's the way I operate.
Right.
So I don't even know what the question was, but I feel like I'm. Like,
I think you covered it.
I think we've like.
So Dirk basically does all the research.
So he does all the research,
and he tells you, hey, look, this thing's legit.
Right.
We need to get on this train.
Right.
And what happened next was we went to OU Texas. That for me, that's from my perspective. You invited, or not OU Texas, it was OU.
No, it was a Big 12 championship.
Big 12 championship.
TCU.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had all your agents, like
Yes.
you always do, great parties and great excitement.
Because that's my part of the business.
Right.
That's what I
you
like
do that
to do.
well.
Yes,
I'll definitely attest to that. And so we hung out and we kind of talked about it a little bit.
Right.
But the way we introduced you to the agents wasn't traditionally how we probably would have known what we know today, right?
Right.
So like they didn't all watch the webinar, right?
Yes.
So we had to try to talk through that a little bit.
Right.
And that it didn't go bad, but it didn't probably.
It could have gone better.
It could have gone better, right?
And that's where I would say that now looking back on it, I go, we're so fortunate to have the people that we have around us.
You have an awesome team. Yeah.
We have an amazing team. And, the amount of pushback that we got was minimal.
Right.
Because I think that when you have trust, no different than when I had trust in Dirk. And when he said, this is why. But then there becomes this component that at some point I had to understand. Mm-hmm. And so I had to have more information. I had to be able to convey that to our team.
Right.
Because there's so much that you can say that, hey, follow me.
Right.
This is the decision.
Right.
Follow me.
Right.
But then there has to be, but why?
Right.
And for me to lead them and to feel like that was the best thing for them. Because my purpose is to make them successful.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if it had been anything that had been in the least bit negative or detrimental to their success, then it would have been the wrong decision.
Right.
So the more I learned, the more I was able to buy
Communicate that, right?
And then there were people along the way that really helped me, and one of them was Heather, and I talked to you about that too. She was in a multi-level marketing type business that she has just crushed.
Right.
And we even had her look at it and go, "Hey, this is a pyramid scheme. This is something crazy. We don't know what this is."
Right. And
her immediate response was, I got to get my real estate license.
That's awesome.
Like that's the answer to. I mean, this is what you're showing me.
Right.
So
it's such a different
value.
Right.
The value that it brings to the people on our team is the part that for me, I know that it's the right decision.
Right.
And now I can confidently tell them.
Right.
And believe that now we can go help other people.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, this is helping them.
Right.
This is something that has components to that no other brokerage that I know of has.
Right.
And so for me, it becomes the more you understand, the more you learn, the more that you can tell somebody, that you can reach across and go, how do I help you?
Right.
And let me tell you that I have some tools that is going to be
I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to blow your mind, right?
It does. It blows your mind.
Right. And most people just don't. There's still, we're still so new to this company.
Oh, me too.
We've only been in it for 90 days, but but the company's been around 7 years. Right. So, it's been around for a while. They've really taken off.
Long
Traction is crazy. A lot of the challenges have been worked out, not all of them.
Right.
And I think we could talk about that. I think one of the challenges we had was you were opening an independent, a broker, you had an office, you had office space already.
Right.
So, the challenge was, you submit, your application, you're waiting, and things got hung up.
Yes.
Right. So let's talk about that because I don't. There's nothing we're trying to. I want to share everybody the experience because
and the pains.
Right.
Anytime you have change, it's going to be painful.
Right.
And one of the things that we experienced because we were a little bit of a pioneer in our state.
Right.
Because I was a broker and I did have a team that I don't think they were used to onboarding teams.
Right.
So at this time,
not teams with their own office for sure.
And with their own office.
Right.
So when you have office space already, then in our state, and every state's different.
Right.
So you're going to have to find out, as far as whoever's watching this needs to check. But we became a branch brokerage, which is great.
Right.
And I'm glad, and it worked out great.
Right.
But
they take on all the liability, and you still get to keep your office and stay where you're at, and nothing changes.
And we still have a broker that reviews all of our, transactions, and it sheds a lot of that liability for me in the sense of, I'm responsible for a lot of things still that because I have an office.
Right.
But we're a branch office, we didn't lose our brand.
Right.
And so I think that's one of the big things that needs to be said is that the branding that we had built, and even though it was less than 2 years old, our brand means something.
Right.
And that is something that was super important to me, and I didn't want to give that up. So you don't have to.
Right. Thank
and
goodness.
honestly, what it does is when you pair with eXp, because it's a partnership,
right.
And when you partner with eXp, it actually gives you more brand power.
Right.
And so now you go from being an independent brokerage that we overcame that objection all the time. Well, yeah, you're not a franchise. You're not worldwide.
Right.
You don't have the marketing that these big brokerages have. And so now, we do.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
And that is like completely overcoming that big objection while still keeping our brand.
Right.
And having our identity.
Right.
And with us, our identity, as a big part was the team.
Right.
And this is the really cool part too, because our team was it. That was the only option.
Right.
If you were coming to work with Erin Catron and Company, then you're on the team.
Point.
And if you're on the team, you can't be at a different split. You can't. Everybody's the same. Everybody's going to get the opportunity. Everybody's going to, you got to fit into this mold. And if you don't fit our culture, then you're not a good fit. And so this.
So how did that change your paradigm? Like,
oh my gosh, it shattered that, because now we have an option. And, there's a lot of agents that aren't great fits for the team.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And they don't want to be on a team.
Right.
Nor do we want them on our team.
Right.
So
but you can still talk to that same agent, bring them on to eXp, and there's still a financial reason to do so.
All of these tools that you can show them, hey, you don't have to be part of the team.
Right.
And actually you should be on this split, and you should be on, and I call them icon agents.
Right.
So I say you can go icon.
Right.
And that's actually the better thing for you, and it's going to work out. And look at all of this added value that you get, and it's not me. I'm not giving it to you. It's eXp. So if you're a team lead, if you're a broker, the cool thing is that you can add all these people, but then I don't have the responsibility.
100%.
So
that's the biggest, one of the biggest ahas that I've had, and just being in all the businesses I've been in, is anytime that there's a promise that's being made, you got to deliver on the promise.
Yes.
And in this business model, you can have pretty short conversations with people about the opportunity, and they come on board and they're really happy, and you didn't have to deliver anything for that to happen.
And it's all set up.
Right.
It's there. It's already. Because that's one thing that I struggle with. I have to have really good people around me, because systems and processes for me are painful.
Right.
And so implementing those things and changing, this is all done.
Right.
It's done. And the value that it comes with eXp is incredible.
Right.
And not even just the value, but the accessibility.
Right.
An eXp world. Okay, so people are going to go on eXp world, and I remember the first time that somebody said, "You get to have an avatar. You get to have a little avatar, and you get to walk around." And I'm like, "Oh, what?"
It's so bizarre.
My
the first
10-year-old plays Sims, but
Right.
I have better things to do.
Right.
And so even going in there for the first time, you're like, "This is so
strange.
awkward," and I was running into tables.
Right. Yeah. I still have. It took me a while to learn how to walk.
So anyway, the struggle is real.
Right. Right. So this is
Now I see it as a huge benefit.
Right.
And you can get immediate answers, and you have immediate access. And now I've found that I am telling even people on my team that I'm the team lead still. go into eXp World.
Right.
They'll go and tell you exactly how to do this.
Right.
I don't need
I
to
get that answer all the time.
Yes.
There's literally someone there to answer questions all the time.
Yep.
You'll figure out the space bar and your forward and backwards the keys and eventually pretty quickly. But you're literally in a complete campus.
Yeah.
Online, which is not the norm. It's not for people my age, it's not the norm, and for people older than me, it's probably definitely not the norm. But you adapt pretty quickly, right? So I think would you give any advice as far as it's a cloud-based company. There's nobody to get face to face with and talk to about getting onboarded. You have to follow a process and stuff like that.
Right.
And you're like me. I'm no different than you. I'm running and gunning every day, right? So
Give me people.
Right. So you've fared through it the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But is there any advice you would give somebody as far as that process and engaging and starting to get involved in the world and the emails and onboarding or any of that?
Well, first and foremost, and this is a plug for all of us because we're all partners together.
Right.
But if you're not aligned with somebody who you can reach out to, you guys have a phenomenal system set up. Now, I've done a crappy job of utilizing it, and sometimes, but I think too that anybody that I would say is looking at it. Your sponsor is important,
right?
And who you are aligning yourself with and the tools that they are going to equip you with is very important.
It's really important when there's a problem.
Yes, and especially when there's a problem. But even when there's not, I think that the organization, because that's something that when you do come on, that it's a little bit daunting,
right?
Especially as a team lead, because you're not just responsible for yourself. You're responsible for 10 other people.
Right.
And then you have your ISAs, you have your admins, you have everybody else who's now being introduced to systems that we don't normally use, that we're all going to kind of learn together. So I would say that number one is really important. But then, reaching out and asking those questions.
Right.
And I'm bad at that. I'm like one of those kind of people that I'm like, well, I'll figure it out.
You'll muscle through it.
Yeah, I'll figure it out and I'll limp along. And,
right.
and the bad thing is that if I would have reached and you told me that you got to start calling me.
Right,
like you got to call me.
I heard from you. I know you got to need me for something.
It's like you're like, okay, Erin must be rocking it because I don't ever hear from her,
right.
So must be going good.
Right.
But instead I feel like I've been running like maybe I wish I had like a good car analogy right now, like but I can't think of anything. Like I have a flat tire.
Right.
And if all 4 of my tires were aired up, then I'd probably be having a lot better performance. So
tell me about the recruiting. This is an agent attraction, as we call it.
Yeah.
So you're one of the few people that I've talked to that saw the business model and said, "Oh my God, this is solving all my problems for building my team." So I think a lot of people see it. Oh, so I'm going to go in revenue share and I'm just going to build this big thing.
Right.
And that's fine, but you saw it as a way to recreate yourself or recreate your business even, or maybe change the business model a little bit.
Yes.
So tell me about what you see and like what do you see in the future for your business? Is it going to be a core team forever and maybe some other options or your office space? What do you think is the future?
So I'm not. I wish that I knew exactly, but I can tell you what my vision right now seems to be, and not that it won't change, because I think the more I learn, like every day I feel like it's like, oh, wow, like it's like it blows my mind because I go, I didn't even think about this aspect of it. And so the biggest thing though that I see that eXp gives our agents is the opportunity to build their own business, to build their own team. And I think as a team lead, there was always that, well, my top producers, are they going to leave because they get to a point where they go, I've hit a ceiling. Right. And I've capped out at what I can do here. So the next step is naturally for me to go do my own thing. Right. And I'm going to that either means starting my own business, if they're true entrepreneurs. Right. Or I'm going to go to a different brokerage because I think I've got this dialed in now that I have a bigger split. Right. And so that was always something that I felt like was a hole in our business. And culture's great, and that can keep you together in some ways. But at the end of the day, people want to be successful too, and they want to have money in their pocket. Right.
They'll do the math eventually.
That's exactly right. So for me was like more so for me than for them. Right. I mean, or even more for them than it was for me.
You said that actually and when we were watching the game, like what you were most excited about was having more of a clear ascension path. Right. To lead and help your team become whatever it is that they want.
And now I feel like it gives them, there's so many different opportunities. And that's where I could sit here all night and tell you, because I feel like you go, well, this person could do this, and they could build their own team, within the team. guess what that would make me? That would thrill me.
Right.
And I would be so happy. And
Right.
I'd go, because I have
And you
vested
could just
interest.
be coaching them on how to do it because you've done that, right?
Yeah, and copy us.
Right.
Do exactly what we're doing and here, and you take it and you duplicate that there.
Right.
And so I think that also gives, I see a little bit too, where I think that people will come on, and we've recruited more on the team. And I thought when I first started hearing about this, that we would recruit, the icon agents.
Right.
The bigger split agents.
Right.
Hey, I want to come on, I want to be on the bigger split.
Right.
And that's been the opposite, which really has surprised me.
Right.
But I kind of see the vision, probably those people that they get on, a lot of agents that we work with aren't high producers.
Right.
And our team allows them to come on and be like seriously thrown in, like baptism by fire,
Right.
like, accountability and,
Right.
and all this stuff that they're just like, holy crap, I had no idea what I was getting into.
Right.
But then they become really successful.
Right.
So they start doing all these transactions, and at the end of the year they've closed 50 deals, or they're making $120,000, and they're going, okay, well now I should get off of the team because I know, and then they have the option to go icon.
Right.
So I feel like it just gives so many more dimensions
Right.
to my business.
It's a beautiful platform.
It is.
It's amazing.
And it's in my best interest for them to do well.
Right.
So I want to give back all I can. I want to invest, which is right in line with what my purpose is.
That's it. I love it. That's awesome. It's been absolutely great talking to you. I'm so happy you're on board with eXp.
Me too.
I'm so happy you're on board with us.
Me too.
And looking forward to taking over.
I know.
All right,
Wait.
girl.
All right.
Appreciate you. Thanks. Okay, I'm here with another one of my business partners at eXp, Carlos German. How are you doing, my friend?
Super excited to be in business with you, Jay.
This is like a dream come true. Putting all
Absolutely.
our fires together, making one big fire.
Loving it.
So tell me, let's talk a little bit about your business. Obviously, Orlando, Florida.
Yes.
One of the first ones to jump on board and
Yeah.
taking action and out there
Absolutely.
crushing it. And just kind of go through you went through the process. I make quick decisions. You make quick decisions. Take action, which I always respect.
Absolutely.
But where was your business at,
Yeah.
transaction wise, and then what problem were you trying to solve? When you were looking at this opportunity with eXp, and how did you come to the conclusion that this was a better vehicle for your goals, for your team's goals, and how did you come to that process and join eXp?
Well, for me, I was an independent broker running the team model. So
Right.
my brokerage was a structure with buyer agents,
Right.
couple listing agents, staff and whatnot. And what I was trying to solve was the sustainability
Right.
and the retention.
Right.
Because I've been masterminding with you guys for years and years and years, and that's always been the challenge. We're rebuilding, and it's become normal. You
Right.
rebuild
Yeah.
it, and it
Tear
crashes,
down,
and stuff like that. So, and we came out of our best year ever, doing over $1 million in revenue. We grew over 36%. So it was definitely a challenging decision because I'm like,
Right.
okay, I wasn't in the tear down.
It wasn't.
phase.
It wasn't at the bottom building it back up.
Correct.
You were at the top where it's still working.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, everything was going well, and I was like, man, this is a challenging decision. But with me, it always goes down to the alignment and the core values, and can it be used as a platform to take me to the next level?
Right.
And I was so full of passion and so full of energy, and my team was just churning it because you were kind of in a wheel, running and running and running
Right.
and rebuilding.
Right.
So I was like, we can take all that energy and build something that is more sustainable.
Right.
Is definitely something you can exit faster
Right.
Later down the road, and we can hit on
Right.
why that is
Right.
later.
Right.
And and it's just a better opportunity for everybody involved.
Right.
While the team, you get the buyer agents. The reason you have that churn is because they want their own team. They want their own brokerage.
They want to
They
grow.
the leadership.
If you're growing them, if it's a leader, then they're
Correct.
naturally going to grow to a point where they're going to
Exactly.
want their own opportunity, and it doesn't usually fit into the team model, right? We usually
Exactly.
lose our best people.
Absolutely. That's what happens. You help them, you groom them, they become top producers, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to do my team. You're like, absolutely, I understand, you support it. You don't have a program or a system to fit that in.
Right.
And it's part of the system
Right.
In that model. The challenge is you stay at that level.
Right.
With this opportunity, I saw something that aligns with where we wanted to be,
Right.
which was grow massively, having that platform to allow us to grow, have that agent sustainability, because the opportunity is the same for everybody. They can build, their own teams.
Right.
It gives them everything they've ever wanted while still being in partnership with all of us.
Right.
I mean, it's the perfect scenario.
Right,
Perfect
really,
storm.
I hope everybody that's listening is picking up what Carlos is laying down here. I mean, it is the perfect scenario to be able to say, and for them to be able to go say, hey, listen, you get to partner with Carlos and Jay and Al and Mike and everyone, that's, within your sponsorship line at eXp.
Absolutely.
That's an extremely good value proposition, which is why this company is growing so fast. The great business model, great culture, great people, and then this total alignment that you have where, pretty much you get anything and everything you need to grow your business and be more successful in real estate. Plus, you have the agent ownership side. Plus, you have the passive income opportunity of revenue share. And all you got to do is tell people about this great company. Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty fascinating. I mean, it's hard not to see it, right? Like if you're watching this video right now, I know you see it. I know you see it because you've had these problems and you see what, that it's actually going to solve for you.
Well,
so
one of the things that I love the most about what we're doing specifically is the partnership with NAEA. Right. And obviously my agents have seen my success, 30 Under 30,
right.
featured in Forbes magazine, best-selling author, a lot of which has been thankful to my partnership with NAEA.
Right.
But the reality is they were not really plugged into that partnership as they can now.
Right.
So, they now see the path to be a best-selling author, to have a team, to become 30 Under 30,
right.
to be featured in magazines all over the country because they have that same opportunity. And it's all included as part of what we're doing.
Right.
So it's just, before, the reason it wasn't there is because obviously they had to pay big bucks to be part of that opportunity.
Right.
Now it's all something that we're doing as a business partnership that is available. And I just love the alignment with that.
Me too. It's one of my, there's nothing like, training someone for the first time that goes through and get, certification on this, the listing side and learn that whole framework, and the same thing on the buy side. I mean, that's the hands-on training and differentiation and the marketing pieces that we all know work, but they've really never really seen that, and they haven't had that opportunity. So, it's just really our ability to add value to more people's lives and duplicate that process over and over again within this, incredible model at eXp. So
and the biggest clarity for me came when I looked at, I've been in real estate for 12 years.
Right.
And I built this team that, really is not sellable.
Right.
And the reality is, while it may be sellable, even if it was sellable, I would have to stay behind to manage it or help the new manager for a year, 2 years. That's the norm. Even with the brokerage, you have to stay around. And so you basically don't have a real asset. So I was reverse engineering. I'm very, very analytical. And, I'm like, okay, if I would have been in this opportunity with eXp for 12 years, getting stocks, I was running the math. I would have been an icon for like 8 years.
Right.
How much money would have that been? And that's without even the, growth, which has happened.
Right.
So when you think about it, I would have had over $1 million of instant, value,
asset
created,
value, real liquid asset value
that you can go online, and as long as you're vested, you can go and sell.
Right.
I mean, it's just amazing, not to mention the team building aspect. So how many agents have we lost because they become top producers and they go? Well, now my top producers, very good. You can do the same. You can go build your team. But guess what? Now that team is also aligned with our opportunity. And we can contribute to the leadership. We can contribute to the team. They can run their own team.
And it allows you to really have a completely different structure. If you wanted to coach this guy on building his team, now you could be compensated differently within this model.
Absolutely.
However, if you wanted to take 10% or 20% of his business to coach him to build what you've built, you can do that. Which I think, I don't know how many people see, there's a lot of different ways you can structure it within eXp that allows that you really couldn't have done very easily without all the tools that eXp brings to the table, and the technology and the business model, and that as a platform. And then with NAEA, when you add all of those pieces, you really have everything you need to structure it however you want. And if you want to get out of production, it enables you to maybe structure that differently. If you want to recruit outside of your market, it enables you to do that.
Absolutely.
So there's really no end to the opportunity, and I think that's what as we do these interviews, and I get there's a line of folks that are ready to come tell their story, and the mega agents or mega icon agents, even as we call them at eXp, that see this opportunity and understand what this business model is doing and creating as far as what the opportunity really is. So, anyways, that's what it gets us all excited and fired up.
Yeah, I want to touch on the tools because I'm very heavy on tools, online lead generation, websites.
One of the best at it.
Exactly.
Right?
So that was big for me looking at the tools, and I'm so happy that eXp didn't think, oh, I can create the best tool in the industry.
Right.
Let me do something. No, they went out and they got the best in the industry that were already out there. That a lot of us were paying thousands of dollars to use those tools, and they provided that opportunity to the agents as part of the technology package for $50. I mean, are you kidding me? So, using those tools to build the teams, to scale it up, it's just amazing because it has everything you need for that online lead generation, which is, very imperative for growing a team. Right. Because that's where, you can generate most of those leads. No matter what you're doing, you can be doing Facebook. Right. You can do YouTube. You can do whatever. It all drives down to that funnel, that website. Right. Heck, I've done print advertising. I funnel it down to the website.
Absolutely.
And this is, the best lead capture.
It's the tool you have to be successful as an agent.
Absolutely.
You have to have it. There's no question. The difference is where you're going to have to pay for it for them, or now the agents get it for $50 a month.
Yeah. And I mean, everything up and down the chain is just amazing. The back end where you can see, all the breakdown, how big your team is, the
how many times a day do you log into that?
I know, right? It's just
I log into it all day, every day.
Yeah, it's like real time. It's just unbelievable. So this is super exciting. It's an amazing opportunity, and we're just gonna crush it.
Absolutely,
There's no doubt about it.
Love it, man. It's always great to talk to you, my man.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Looking forward to the future, my friend.
Same here.
And as we say at NAEA, we'll either see you at the top or from the top. All right, we're here with my great friend, Andrew Gaydosh, my business partner now at eXp Realty. I'm having a blast working with you, my brother.
It's been great.
It's been a great, last, guess what's been maybe now 30 days, 60 days?
Yeah, it's funny. We started, when we first started exploring it, it's been a couple months ago, but had to take care of a few things before we made the jump. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, obviously we've been involved in the past with a lot of the NAEA and Mastermind, but it's been awesome working with you on a weekly basis, daily basis in some cases.
Absolutely, that's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about, just so everybody kind of understands, the size of your business.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about how you made this transition coming over and the process you went through, because I think you did it a little bit differently than other people did, and I respect it. I think a lot of people will respect that you took the time to really experience it before you even came out and talked about the experience and how it's going and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was real important to me. Well, first of all, I'm from Dayton, Ohio, northern Cincinnati, and our team, we have approximately 12 agents on the team, 3 or 4 admin, and we do about 40 million, or have done about 40 million in the last couple of years, 230, 240 transactions a year, and it was a lot. I wasn't only looking at it from my perspective. I was really concerned with how it was going to affect my agents.
Right.
I knew through the investigation and having the ability with you and Al and Brent to fly down and meet, the leadership team all the way to the founder, Glenn Sanford.
Right.
And it was interesting that I knew it was the right thing, but I also wanted to make sure it was the right thing before I promoted it to everybody else.
Right.
And that was
tell me about that, because you did come on a little bit slower. So what was the reservation? Because you definitely held back a little bit, and I know you saw it. We all see it. Nobody doesn't see it.
There's no question that we walked away from Fort Lauderdale saying, "Man, this solves our problem."
Right.
We were looking for Al and I and the rest of us. Were looking to solve that puzzle of the opportunity. What opportunity can we extend our agents beyond a transaction-based situation? From a revenue share of our own, we were looking at doing a private equity fund and investing in real estate. So our agents, when they were ready to retire, when they were down the road, they had quite a bit of money sitting there. They didn't get out of the business like most agents broke.
Right. And what problem are we trying to solve? Exactly. Just so everybody's paying attention.
Exactly.
What problem is that addressing?
Well, the problem, you're talking about the opportunity.
Well, I'm talking the agent retention and the agent recruitment
Exactly.
is the problem that we the turnover rate of our agents.
Sure.
How do we get them to stay longer? How do we
Right.
get and again, how do we add enough value that they would never want to leave us? That's all we're really trying to do. I mean,
Yes.
that's just pretty simple. But you were really you took your time coming on board. So
Right.
what were you thinking? Like, what was keeping you from making that decision?
Well, I knew immediately it was a good deal.
Right.
Like you said, once you see it,
You knew
can't
you were
unsee
doing it.
I knew I
I
was
feel
going
like
to do
you
it.
knew
Right.
you were
I
doing
knew
it.
I was going to do it. But I'm the kind of guy that I want to drive it before I buy it, and then I want to drive it again before I tell all my friends
Right.
and my family and people that I care
Right.
about. I really
Absolutely.
love.
Affects a lot of people.
Yeah, and so in seeing that this solved the problem that we were having, and at the same the problem was I wanted to create more opportunity. It wasn't a problem. It was just the added value that I wanted to bring to our team.
Right.
Exactly right, for retention
Right.
and. I don't want to be the only guy with the boat on the lake. I want all my guys on my team and gals on the
Amen.
team having their opportunity to bring to bring the financial goals that they
Right.
wanted along with them.
Right.
So we were all in alignment, and we've been talking about that for years. So I wanted to take a little bit of time, test it. So 30 days in, it far exceeded our expectation.
Right.
I mean, I was a Remax broker owner for 10 years. Moved markets, sold that business because I saw that the model wasn't exactly going to achieve my financial goals in the long run.
Right.
It just wasn't there.
Right.
It was great, loved the guys, loved the brand, but our moving forward was running our team, creating leaders on our team,
Right.
and creating opportunity for our teammates.
Right. Absolutely. So as far as the structure and coming on board, 12 agents, on varied splits, whatever your split structure
Sure.
is. And I think it's worth mentioning. I think some people, the average sale price in your market, makes it a little tougher if your average is really low. Like I
Right.
come from a market that's
Right.
really, really low, so that would
Right.
have been probably a hang up for me. Yours is, up in the middle to high side, but I mean, you really had to do the math and make sure that it
Yeah.
made sense, right? So what was the conversations like? How were they more excited or less excited than you
Sure.
expected? What was the?
Well, number one, I kind of figured they'd see it too because they've been around me long enough to understand what I wanted out of our team for them and for myself.
Right.
So it was pretty clear. I was currently working for a Realty brand, Better Homes and Gardens.
Right.
So they were taking 6% off the top for a royalty fee. I had a little bit in there on our side, another 5% for our team
Right.
that we would take for marketing, some other expenses. So if you really looked at our model, we were already taking 11% off the top, and that went ongoing.
Right.
So
Stopped.
It never stopped, and a lot of our agents are producing well. My average sale price is not out of the park. I mean, I'm at $200,000 is our average sale price.
Right.
We do a lot of high end, and then we do some low end, so
Right.
it averages out in the middle. So when presenting this to them, we basically made a couple tweaks to the splits, but it was business as usual. I mean,
Right.
they saw the opportunity. They were so pumped about it. I mean, every one of them, including our admin staff,
Right.
are just pumped for the opportunity.
Right. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Is there anything else that as far as like the alignment that you've seen, any
Right.
shift in just obviously our relationship has always been great. You know what
Sure.
I'm saying? And I've always be there for you if you ever need to
Right.
be. But what is as we've come together and become more aligned with your team and with us and everyone at eXp
Right.
within this this business platform, what's the difference? What's different about this versus anything else you've done?
Well, what's incredible about it is, we've always, through the mastermind, we've always had resources. I could call you up and you'd help me out. That was always a given, and vice versa for everybody that was involved. However, this is a whole different opportunity for alignment. For the first time, we are in business together.
Right.
For example, I didn't even told you this today. We're in class, and I get a call from a top Keller Williams agent in our market. I didn't approach him. He's been ingesting the content
Right.
on online that I didn't even produce. It was more for you. And the upline, what I realize is the upline is so critical because of, it's just like anything else in line. It's who you're doing business with.
Right.
Matters sometimes more than the business that you're doing.
Right.
He called me up today, said, "Hey, can we talk?" I called him at break and I said, "Hey, let me help you out here. What's going on?" He said, "Man, I want to talk to you about eXp. I've been checking you guys out. Been watching Jay, watching the videos." I said, "Great." I said, I gave him kind of sent him the links.
Right.
Did it exactly made right on spot as to how we would want to do that. And I said, let's schedule a call tomorrow. And if we need to bring Jay in, he said, "Oh man, I talked to Jay. Oh yeah, Jay is motivated as much as I am to share with you this opportunity.
Right, and help you be successful.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and he got it.
Right.
And he's
there's a lot of smart people out there is
Right.
what we're finding. They reach out to you, and that's the opportunity is they reach out, they are interested, they watch the webinar, they
Right.
learn all, and then they have some questions. We get on the phone and we help close down the deal.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the process.
Sure.
And that's what duplication is. So like as we're focused on trying to make this as duplicatable as we can. Now a lot of us at this level are pretty skilled, and we feel like we can do a really good job. But it's following the process that's duplicatable. That's what really makes the opportunity real. Like if we can't duplicate this for every single person you bring on, then we didn't do it right. We got to make sure it's duplicatable. So
well, and that's a good point. I mean, even from day one, sometimes you would think that people might think, hey, listen, oh, great, Gaydosh, you can do it. You might have more influence in the marketplace. But they don't say no to the opportunity. They say no to how they were approached for the opportunity.
Right.
And the way that this is dialed in through your leadership and some of the other guys with Al and everybody, it's just so simple because it's done for you. They ask you about it. You inform them through an educated webinar.
That's not you selling it.
Exactly.
Right.
So in their mind, they can see them doing exactly what you did, even though they might not have the comprehension of the whole process yet.
Right. They're like, well, I can send somebody a link to a
Exactly.
webinar. That's easy, right?
Yeah, he didn't take me out to dinner and have every fact involved in the process.
Yeah.
He sent me to a webinar. The webinar explained it. They did the investigation. You come in for the cleanup duty, and if you don't know the answers, you call Jay. Right. Or call out.
Right. That's it. That's a simple system, man. So
exactly.
It's great to be in business with you, my man.
You bet.
I love you, brother.
Yeah, you
and looking forward to taking this to the next level.
Yeah, it's going to blow up.
You know it is.
Yep.
And as we say at NAEA, we'll either see you at the top or from the top. All right, I'm here with Curtis Johnson, and Curtis is actually one of my closest friends I've known.
Come on, man, you're killing me.
He's in my top 8. That's how far back we go. He's in my top 8.
I mean, the top 8 one of your friends.
Right.
No, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
No, so he's literally one of the most fun people I know, and one of the great fortunes I think we have at eXp is getting to work together. One team, one dream, and that's been really a blessing. But I really want to unpack. I want you to unpack kind of what the process you went through. So you had a big team. You've done like 4,000 bajillion transactions in your lifetime,
right?
And we've all built our companies really big, tore them down, built them back up again.
Yeah.
So what was it inspired you to make the move to eXp?
Sure.
And how did you come to that conclusion? And how did you structure it? You've got 20-something agents, right?
Sure. Yeah, kind of long story, right? Over the years, tried a lot of different things. Been with KW as a part owner, Remax, had my own brokerage for 12 years. Been with independent, and then kind of looking at this, and something that really attracted me was that we've been talking about this for over a decade, trying to figure out how do you get a lot of top agents and everybody on the same side of the table, as opposed to, okay, that's fine, we can go to mastermind, share ideas, but when you really have like going to business together, how do you do that? And this was the first platform that I found that, well, you know what, wow, we can really do this, and we really are in business together because there's a financial component to it, and there's an incentive for you to help share the things that you've learned with myself, with other agents and agents that I sponsor and so forth. So that was really one of the biggest things to look at, and to go, okay, well, how do you take a big team, and then is it worth making that move over? And I looked at it for over a year, and when I first looked at it, there was different things that were attractive, but I also thought, I don't know if it's too early or not. Right? And now I think it's got the structure, the stability, and it's got a lot of the credibility, if you will, that is going to help scale going forward. Right.
So when you talk about partnership, I just want to unpack that for a minute. So it's one of the few times I've ever had the opportunity to every single person I work with every single day. I'm not asking for a credit card at the end of the conversation.
Right.
And for me, that's a really big deal because it's really fulfilling. And I talk to you every day now. So I mean, so you'd be happy to get your credit card out an awful lot, probably, right? But no, in all seriousness, I mean, what the leverage that it brings. I mean, what do you see as far as how we're going to be able to really help more agents, not just be more successful in real estate, because obviously you have a tremendous amount of value you add. We can add a ton of value as well. What do you think is the future for the people that are getting in, and what is the experience going to be like for them?
I look at it as a blank slate, if you will, that there's this platform, this eXp platform, and there's great agents in it, but then it's relatively new that we get to make whatever we want. And one of the things when I was looking at this, like, okay, I just looked at just the company itself. And I had some friends that went in it, but I was like, man, okay, that's attractive. But the thing that really was the tipping point for me was to go, wow, okay, what's making some of these other people take this step? And then to go, you know what, I can actually be in business with them. I don't have to move to Lawton, Oklahoma. I don't have to move to Dallas. I don't have to go across the country or whatever. I can say, we can actually partner here, really across the country, wherever that is, and to actually be able to do that, right? And to be able to partner, that was the thing that really just kind of tipped it over for me.
Right. Putting our fires together and making one big fire.
Right, absolutely. And that was one of the things actually when I looked at it was like, okay, that's important. I had no idea how important it was, the people that were in your upline, if you will, right? I'm not much into that whole idea. You know, I kind of think, I'm not into MLM or whatever. It's like, I've been running MLM for almost 19 years, right? And running a team is, you got a lead buyer specialist, lead listing specialist, a manager, operations manager. Like, how many levels is that? Right. Okay, well, you get a little split on this, and you get a split. It's like, that's what the whole thing is, right? But this is a way that's better structured to be able to say, it does matter who's sponsoring you, because, you know, I was at KW, and the person that sponsored me, like, love the company, but the person that sponsored me, like, there was no value really there. And I had no idea who the people up from that were. Because it was like, well, you got to hope they didn't put new tile in this week, right? There was a profit, which there really wasn't. But in this, like, all the people that are up above, I know those people. I've talked to them, and they've shared stuff. They've been on the phone helping me with conversations with other people. And that's where the real power comes in.
That's the duplication.
Yeah, it goes, hey, you know what? They're excited about your growth, not just looking out for themselves, and that's pretty cool.
It's total alignment.
Total alignment, right.
So,
and even on the team side, right? We talked about that from an agent standpoint. Is it's hard to kind of go, oh no, hey, go sell some houses and we'll make a split and we'll be on the same side of the table. It doesn't matter how much you give; they never get that necessarily. But this, you're actually saying, hey, for people on your team, we're going to give you this business too, and we're going to help build it for you. And they go, well, wait a second, like, why would you do that? Well, because I want you to succeed, but also it helps me as well. And they get it. Right. So you can be in partners deeper with your own team, and it just kind of makes sense where everybody's really that alignment.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
So with your agents that you brought over, what was the structure like? I mean, you probably tested numerous different splits and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And that, having that conversation, moving over to eXp, obviously, were they all excited? How did that process go, and how did you make that transition, and how did that work? So I think that's a question that everyone's in the phase of kind of, I'm in consideration, deciding maybe if I'm going to do this or not. How should I do it? What does that look like? So just if you would kind of describe how you
just being totally transparent, right? One of the things that was told to me, and hopefully it doesn't turn someone off, but was told to me was, I got a team of 20 to almost 25 people, right? Is look at this and say, okay, is this a big enough opportunity that if everybody walked out and you went and did it, that you would be okay with that you would go do it? And for a while I was like, no, I don't want to mess with that. It's not worth it to me, right? I don't want to start over like that. But I really kind of got to the point was I believed in it so much. I was like, okay, I got to have a couple come with me, right? But when I looked at it, I was like, okay, I don't know, they're going to be really turned off by this, and they're going to be turned off by that. And I'm like, okay, I got to get at least 4 or 5 of them to go with me or whatever. And I can start over, I can do it. And I went and I presented it to everybody and went through. And really, really lost 3 agents. One had already quit 2 weeks before, but I said, well, hey, hold on, I'm going to make a big announcement. And yeah, she didn't really want to work, right? Another one that I said, sorry, it's probably just not a fit, and I didn't necessarily want them to come with us, and one that I did want. So out of that, but okay, so I'd say a net -1, right, with that, or -1. But then here's the deal. I've been here for 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Not all my teammates even have all their licenses moved over. Like, we still have like 1 or 2 more. There's 4 of my agents that already have somebody that they've already sponsored that's in the system already inside that. So I'm up.
It's already expanding.
And we've already got like 5 or 6 others that they've already gone. And this is just in a couple weeks. So that's kind of like, I didn't see that coming. I was like, okay, I'm going to get down to 10 people.
They weren't going to get anybody right out of the gate.
Absolutely. So they're already starting to see it.
So that's a huge opportunity. That's great. So basically out of 25 agents, you probably brought on what you're saying you had 24, 23? Is that how many actually were? I guess 22. If the 3 that didn't come on board.
I just I think like 26,
Right.
27. So,
So-
I moved up.
Right, man. That's pretty awesome. That's good to know. So I think that puts a little bit people at ease. What I found is everybody's excited. Just as excited as we get it when we see opportunity. No
Sure.
different. They see the value. They see the opportunity just as well, and they're happy to pay the the portion of cap that they have to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I thought it was going to be a deterrent. Like, okay, how do you do this? And it didn't really come out like that.
Awesome. Well, as you, I'm proud to be in business with you, my man.
too.
So I appreciate you very much, and
You
thanks
too.
for sharing that, because this is probably going to be super valuable for someone else who's coming along trying to think, how am I going to
Hey,
structure
we're all
my big
figuring
team?
it out together, right? That's the whole point. Is we're all in this together.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. And as we always say at NAEA, we'll see you at the top or from the
From the top. There you go.
All right, I'm here with my good friend Dan McCabe, a guy I've known for, every bit of 10 or 12 years now, I'm sure.
Been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, so we've known each other for a long time. You're in the Minneapolis, Minnesota marketplace, right?
Yep.
And you got into real estate years and years ago, and we ran into each other at a mastermind with, I believe it was Dan Kennedy.
I think it was Nick Nanton.
It was Nick Nan. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. We both spent a lot of money in a lot of
Yes, we
places.
did.
That's one thing we
did that for sure.
have in
Always
common
gotta
for
learn.
sure. Spending that money to learn and grow. So you have a brokerage. Tell your story. I mean, you've been in real
Sure.
estate forever. You've done a number of different things very successfully and some unsuccessfully, as we always say.
Hey, that happens. That's how we learn. But yeah, I started out, I was 19 years old, bought my first house, fixed it up, realized that it was just a better way. So I was in college at the time, and I could either go pay rent or I could buy the house and get 3 other people to pay the rent for me or pay
Right.
my mortgage for me.
Right.
I got the biggest bedroom in the house. I got the master bath. I got the space in the garage, which in Minnesota is a big deal.
Right.
So yeah, I started there, and I ended up graduating the University of St. Thomas with my degree in real estate and finance. So it was
Okay.
a 4-year degree. It was a Bachelor of Science, so BS in real estate. Take that for what you want. But yeah, after that, I went to construction for a brief period, got up on a roof in the middle of December, and I was like, yep, time to go put that license to use that I got in college.
Right.
Jumped in with Coldwell Banker right away. Became the Rookie of the Year agent at Coldwell Banker in my local market, which was cool, but I quickly realized that I was giving up a lot in fees. Went over to Remax, still was producing pretty well, but I realized that the only way to make more money in real estate was to sell more houses.
Right.
And how can I duplicate myself?
Right.
So I went off and became a broker.
Right.
So
So you opened own independent then at that time?
Yep, I had my own little independent called Community Trust Realty. We grew to about 15 agents. Timing, you'll hear me say you can't choose timing all the time.
Right.
My timing wasn't so good because I did it right before, the bubble burst, so to speak,
Right.
as they say in the news.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting time because I was managing a lot of agents who were doing foreclosures and short sales, which just really wasn't my thing. So
Right.
all of a sudden it was a lot harder to do a transaction.
Oh, yeah.
The banks were beating
They
us
were
up on
way harder.
commissions.
Yeah, right.
And
Pay you
it
less,
wasn't
take longer to
fun.
get paid, not fun at all.
Right. So that's, that was the point where I switched over. I'm looking at all these foreclosures. I went into investing. I've been investing pretty regularly since 2008, flipped hundreds of
Yeah, I would
houses.
say you're an expert at the investing game. So I mean, that's definitely a skill set that you and you teach others, the strategy that you use as well.
absolutely.
Right. So.
Yeah, we flipped a lot of houses, and since 2012, we've been building and developing a lot of houses.
Right.
And we have our own boutique brokerage now, but we recently made the switch with you because,
So why? So why eXp? You have your own independent small brokerage.
Right.
Nobody's telling you any what to do. Nobody's messing with you. Why this opportunity? Why now? What did you see in this opportunity?
Honestly, it was when I started seeing really credible people making the leap.
Right.
When I saw you make the leap.
Right.
And then I heard about Curtis making the leap. And I heard about all these different mega agents making the leap.
Right.
I decided I need to investigate it a little bit more.
Right.
But really, the ultimate opportunity I saw was what I was always looking for when I first formed my brokerage. So I don't think I ever told you this, but when I formed my first brokerage, I had a model where the agents could have a revenue share based on agents they brought in. I had this idea. I was like the brainchild of this. I stayed up
stole
all
it
night.
from you.
I entrepreneurial seized this for
was
like
Napster.
days. Right.
They called you Napster.
Yeah, I spent a year, I spent money, I did all this stuff, I
Right.
opened it up, and then I turn around and here comes Keller, here comes X. I'm like,
Right.
oh man,
man.
all these guys are doing it, and they got way deeper pockets than me. But what I saw with eXp and made the leap with you was just that
they have everything that I wanted back then. They got the training systems. We got the partnership with NAEA for your guys' training systems, which is huge. They got the back office. They got the technology. They got all the stuff that I wanted that I couldn't do on a relatively limited budget. Plus, now I don't have the responsibility or liability to all those agents.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we had an interesting story, and I'm not sure if you even heard it. We had one of our agents that had the photographer got shot in the house.
Did not hear that one.
And I mean, it's scary. I mean, you think about the liability. You know, well, did they use whose key did they use to get in? Was there an appointment set? And you know, they're an independent brokerage, so that liability falls on them, and that's not covered by E&O. So like, you know, you never know what's going to happen in this business. So like, just getting that stuff, you know, the liability off of your plate, and really not anything that we like to do. It's just because you have to do it. And you know, I think some people fear maybe that, you know, oh well, I get to do whatever I want as my own independent. Well, you know, that's definitely been the experience I've had at eXp. You know, they're not trying to police how I do my business by any stretch of the imagination. So definitely a huge advantage. So you seem to get the model. You seem to get our place in it, and how how NAEA and the alignment and structure, how we can make things more duplicatable works. You might just maybe talk a little bit about what you see and how we can make that even better, because I know that you have some knowledge around this side of things.
Yeah, well, you know, the recruiting piece, we did that as a small brokerage, and I have a lot of experience in that in my life, and I've run the local real estate networking group for the last 7 years. We've always been recruiting for membership for that and things like that. I guess, one of the things I like with this is that we're able to go out and get people, and we don't have to be responsible for their every move. If somebody wants to do their own thing, they got the freedom to do their own thing. If they want to be a part of our team atmosphere and our culture, they can be a part of that as well. One of the other things that's really cool, though, about the revenue share plan and people going out there and building that team and creating that culture they want below them, underneath them, is that as soon as they start doing that, they're bought in. It's an incredibly kind of sticky business. I don't have a better way to say it. It's between the shares that you receive upon sales and upon helping grow the company by bringing in other agents. And then when they do the exact same thing, where are they going to go?
Why would you leave? I mean, what would happen? I mean, I can't think of what would happen that would make me want to leave and go somewhere else. And when I even find myself. I mean, and it's even weird saying this, but I find myself even with this alignment, spending way more time than I probably would have if you paid me. With just this opportunity and really trying to help every single person that I can. And it's fascinating. I'm on the phone all day, every day, and I love it. And I'm really getting to help people, and it's really part of my passion and purpose. I think that's why I really enjoy it. But but you see that, you feel it like real quickly within the whole entire organization. This complete alignment of people wanting to help each other, top to bottom, and that's just been really cool. I've never experienced it at this level. It's very, very, very fascinating.
And just touching on that, one of the things I like about the partnership with NAEA, and one of the things I like about this group that we have going with a lot of us, is that we're going to attract good agents, and we're going to attract people that want to sell houses, because we've created a system and a platform to help people go out and sell houses. We talk about the revenue share. People talk about the revenue share a lot, and I think some people talk about it almost too much sometimes because it's there and it's cool. But at the end of the day, it's about making all of us better and going out there and selling houses and building the business we want to build. And as we're growing and building and we're doing the revenue share as well, it's just like we have a whole bunch of irons in the fire, but it's all in one local spot.
It's a perfect platform. I've just never seen anything like it. I've worked really hard trying to do the same thing you did, trying to figure out the best model in real estate. And I'm just glad. I'm thankful for Glenn Sanford for dreaming this one up and allowing us to take part in it. So
thank him for executing it.
Execution, man. And they put in 7 hard years before it started to take off like it is now. And I know those were hard years. And they did a great job. But it's awesome, man. And I'm just glad we're working together, man. So it's always good to have you as a business partner, and looking forward to taking it over.
It's big things coming, man. Looking forward to it.
Yep. So as we say at NAEA, we'll see you at the top or from the top. All right, we're here with another one of our business partners at eXp, Brad Robbins. What's up, my friend? Hey, I'm so glad to have you here and be able to have this kind of conversation, really, and just talk about kind of your experience of joining eXp. And the kind of goal here is to help people to understand kind of. Everyone has to go through this process before they join. Some people join right away. Some people wait, and then they have some regrets. I just want to kind of hear your story. So what exactly was the process you went through when you saw it, and how did you come to the conclusion you were going to make the jump and that kind of thing?
Well, you know, it goes back quite a ways. We had our first initial conversation, and I've talked to many people about it in different angles, but it was, you know, really seeing the value. And one of the things is, you know, watching the first webinar, you really can't sleep at night. I mean, when you're sitting there watching that, going through the numbers and the possibilities and going, man, this is real. This is something that can really impact a lot of people's lives. And, you know, trying to find a better way to do business in a different model and really analyzing things. One of the biggest hurdles I had when I was thinking about moving over was trying to, you know, go in and create a hub to where a bunch of different agents we could, you know, bring in a rural area all under, you know, one roof and kind of shut down the borders to everybody else, you know, the metro areas and the mega brokers, and try to take back over, you know, our town and some of those areas, and the opportunity to go out and do the same thing in a replicatable process. It's just been awesome.
Right.
So a lot of excitement, a lot of possibilities.
So
you know, I probably should have pulled the trigger a little bit sooner than I did, but you know, I'm glad that we're having this conversation and I've made the move.
Right. So you know, so I just want to point out, like, you know, you saw the opportunity bigger than what maybe even some people are looking at it, which is, you know, the office space, right? So,
correct.
You know, knowing that there are, you know, and even Glenn Sanford, the founder, said there, you know, 25% agents that are on board that come over are willing to pay for office space. So there's a business model opportunity with office space, and I think a lot of the independents are seeing that as an opportunity to move their entire independent company over. Even Remaxes and things of that nature transferring over. There's an opportunity to rent space to agents that would pay for an office in an environment like that. So there's definitely some opportunity there, but you said that kind of slowed you down to maybe trying to figure out if you wanted to make that jump, and that probably slowed you down from moving right on over. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I mean, like our initial conversation is, you're like, man, it's just got to be one of those things where I think we'll figure it out as we go and you know, jump in. But it definitely was something that was in the back of my head, and I still really didn't know if it was the right time. And it's kind of like, you know, it's never the right time to have kids, but you got to have them at some point. It's time to jump in. It is what it is, and I'm excited about it. Lots of opportunity and the ability to give back to other people and create some true alignment, and, you know, ultimately give my agents a chance to, you know, run their own show and be a part of a team and give some good direction as well.
Right, that's awesome. Leaders creating leaders, as we always say.
That's what it's all about.
Right? So, you know, obviously, I think, you know, the thing that we love about this opportunity is that we get to really partner with you and add as much value as we can, you know, as part of, you know, being your sponsor at eXp. So, what over the years in working with this, you know, what has been your experience in working with us, and how do you see that helping you, you know, as far as your eXp experience?
You know, going back, you know, several years, I've known you and John and Mike now for 7 years, 8 years, and being able to come up there, I've been in the business for about 7 years. It's been a life changer. Coming in, finding a repeatable system, something that you can train people on and go out, it's just been tremendous. And being able to share that with other people, I think is going to be, you know, I mean, it's instrumental in each one of the agents' lives and what we're going to be able to do for them. And, you know, partnering with the NAEA and eXp, I mean, it's just a dream come true.
It is. It's awesome, man. So I appreciate you, sharing your story. Is there anything as far as the agents? So you got like 5 agents,
correct?
And you brought them on board. You know, what was your hesitation? Did you have any hesitation in telling them? Were they all excited? Did they all freak out? What was kind of the experience you had?
We've had some initial conversations about it. I think they're extremely excited. They understand the possibility that's, you know, going to come, but they don't understand everything that they're about to get. And that's a really cool thing, and, you know, being able to get them to scale up and level up is going to be a big change.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, it's good to have you aboard. Welcome aboard, and glad to be partnered with you. And
thank you.
Like we always say at NAEA, we'll either see you at the top or from the top.
All right, so I'm here with Robbie Breaux from Lafayette, Louisiana, and this is another interview with another mega agent that's moved over to eXp, and really just going to ask you some questions, man. I mean, we all go through this process, we all get real excited, and we look at it, and we slice it up 100 different ways, and try to figure out what the best way to structure your team coming over, and just kind of want to unpack kind of the process you went through, and maybe it cover your transactions, how many deals you were doing in your business, and what got you excited about eXp, and then ultimately how did you structure the how you told your team and came on board.
Well, absolutely. Well, last year, 2017, we did 237 transactions for right at $57 million.
Yep.
We're a team of 10, and myself, my wife, a couple admin, and we had a lot of people to be able to please whenever you make that decision. The first step is like, man, let me go poke a whole bunch of holes in it.
Right.
Then I'm gonna ask my buddy. I'm gonna ask,
right.
like, man, he's been there. Well, let me see if I can get some other opinions that are attached to that.
Right.
And like, man, I don't see any holes. So now that we've got some buy-in, it helped that my wife was on the team. We had a lot of dialogue when it comes back and forth. So the next step for us to be able to send it out to the team, we put each one of them individually, had them watch the webinar, and let them make their decision on their own. So the one thing that we'd always ask, say, listen, we wanted to give you, if you would give us the opportunity to tell everybody on their own.
So you asked them, don't go telling everybody about it, but watch this webinar, right?
That's exactly when gossip starts.
Right.
Because, they still have a bunch of questions, but, you want to be able to give that delivery of what your vision is for the team and putting them into a position to win.
Right.
Because for us, it was always about making sure that they were in a better spot
right.
from the independent brokerage where we came from to make the move over, and everybody was going to be in a better spot. So
right.
once they could see that vision and unpack that, we were able to go ahead and move
right.
forward. It just took a little while for us to be able to do that.
Right.
Mostly paralysis of analysis.
Right.
You keep looking, I can't find a hole.
Thinking it over and rethinking it over. Right. So
I delayed this thing so long, and it should have happened months ago.
Right. Yeah, I understand. I think that's. I think most of us had a similar story. I think the way that you told your agents. I think that's a great suggestion. So they did watch it independently,
yes.
And did they all watch it pretty much at the same time, or did it kind of over a period of time? How did you structure that?
We had everybody come over to the house. We invited them into our home, but
right.
Kind of put it into a safe spot.
Right.
Showed them all the video independently. Gave them a chance to be able to ask questions.
Right.
Send them the link to be able to go and watch it at home. Said, look.
And what was their feedback, or what challenges did come up in the conversation? Was there anything that was
the biggest one? Was probably commission, just to make sure they were getting paid as good as or better.
Right.
And we were able to structure our, even on a, on an 80-20 off the top, just getting them to realize that for them it was a half cap,
right.
At 8,000 cap, you're going to be. We were at a certain percentage that never went away.
Right.
This one disappears at 8. You got a few fees that are attached
right.
to that. And then once you got that light bulb to go, it was like, oh,
I see it.
Here it is.
Right.
How can I not make more money?
Right.
I could sell less and make just as what I did before.
Right. So that was a win-win. And you didn't have to change anything to your split structure or anything. It was the same thing it was, and just smooth sailing.
Small tweaks to be able to make them start off right where they were.
That's awesome.
Everybody's going to be seeing 5-figure or better increases in their commission.
Right. So that everybody's on board, everybody's excited.
Everybody's pumped.
And as far as the community, and going after and recruiting, how is things going from that perspective?
Man, the phone has not stopped. It's been crazy. So I got a lot. I feel like I'm kind of getting a little payback with everybody overanalyzing.
right.
And I think the important thing for when it's coming to recruitment and attractment is giving something of value to them and
right.
not chasing them down, because not everybody is going to leave over commission or revenue share, because
right.
there's 15 to 20 different reasons on that shift
right.
that's important to them, and there was 6 or 7 of them that were important to me.
Right.
And just finding out what's important to them isn't the same as what's important to you and I.
Right.
So,
how valuable has it been? Obviously you've worked, hand in hand with Al for a long time, but it's this is my first chance to really get to work with you and spend, more time with you, and I'm loving it. Looking forward to the future working together. It's being partners with the baddest, real estate teams in the country is a pretty cool environment that we have. So how has that been? How has that inspired you, or how are you looking at that as far as as you're recruiting, using and leveraging that with the people you talk to?
I'll tell you, I didn't come from a recruiting background from the independent brokerage that I was at before. So, one thing that I was kind of hesitant was like, man, this recruiting is a big opportunity, and it's a lot to take on because you got a lot of other things that are going on with the business. But the beautiful thing with you and Al and Mike is I've got the ability, if somebody's there and they like it, they've watched the webinar, I can kick it up the line. Right. And we partner together to be able to bring it home.
Right.
You benefit, Al benefits, I benefit.
We all win.
We all win. Or even if it's for my team members underneath and they've got
right.
somebody there. We're all in alignment.
Right.
it all makes sense for everybody.
Absolutely.
One of the things for the agents, you know, when they came on, they had the ability to have ownership into the company through their stock purchases,
Right.
whether it's their first sale, whether it's bringing somebody on,
Right.
whether it's them capping, whatever that is, and the ability for that asset to potentially grow.
Right.
You know, through that stock by sticking around and helping other people see the opportunity.
Right.
It's free money.
Right. And
Like,
did the agent? How many of your agents did they, opt in for the 5%? You know, at a
Every
20%?
one of
Every
them.
one of them. So yeah, that's what I would think. You know, that's it's super valuable when you think. I mean, we just don't have a retirement in real estate. We just don't. So when we think that we're adding value to our agents' lives, but that's, you know, this
Right.
is something that we can't really. We
It's-
don't have publicly traded companies that we could have plugged into and made this happen. So I think that is something that, you know, all the agents immediately get. Hey, I'm building something for a potential retirement or whatever the case may be. And if you're going to be in real estate for the next 5 or 10 years, why wouldn't you be at eXp?
Shoot,
Right.
man, that passive income, man, it's nice to see something come in and not have to really kill yourself out there
Right.
in the trenches to be able to do that. And the same thing for them. Our value has only been transactional based at a time, and whatever
Right.
training's there. This helps bring it even more value and hold that bond that much tighter. So,
That's right. Not going
man,
anywhere.
that's awesome. Can't.
I love it, man. It's great to be in business with you, my man.
Same here.
And thanks again. Yep.
Enjoyed it.
As we say it in the EA, whether you see you at the top or from,
Or from
the
the
top.
top.